I'm from IHS Markit. We're a research and consulting firm. We cover a wide range of industries, including TMT, and within that, of course, TV and video markets. So today, I'm going to give you our assessment of the strategies and prospects for the three most highly anticipated streaming services that are going to enter the burgeoning direct-to-consumer space. So let's start by setting the scene a bit, looking at the market landscape for the companies entering this space. So what is the landscape like for Apple, WarnerMedia, and Disney+? Well, in their home market of the US, online channels, which are represented in subscription terms by these big red blocks in the chart on the left here, they are dominating subscription video growth as virtual pay TV, and that's the smaller orange segments there, fails to compensate for traditional pay TV's decline. So here we're making the distinction between online channels that aggregate content like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and HBO, and online services that aggregate a range of third-party channels for a pay TV-like offering, like DirecTV Now, Sling TV, and PlayStation Vue. And you can see that it's online channels, the former category, that have been the main beneficiaries of the cord-cutting trend in the US. So now online channels account for more than 60% of all video subscriptions in the US. It's important to note, though, that that does only translate into a subscription video revenue share of about 11% due to the lower ARPUs of these services. Now, if we look at the rest of the world through the same lens, outside the US, the pay TV has broadly resisted cord cutting. So the disruption to established market dynamics has been certainly less profound. But again, if you look to those growing red blocks, you can see that online channels still represent by far the biggest growth opportunity, and that's what Apple, WarnerMedia, and Apple are looking to tap into. And they are big companies compared to Netflix, the online video subscription leader. This is an opportunity they can't afford to lose out on. Compared to Netflix in revenue terms, these are big companies that have massive revenues, and if they allow Disney to, and they're companies that are increasingly media-centric, or certainly heavily media-centric in the case of Disney. And subscription online video is key to all their futures in different ways, and if they allow Netflix, which is the runaway online channels leader, if they allow it to dominate the market, then it will hurt their future prospects. So their strategies are defensive and offensive in varying degrees. So let's take a closer look now at the specific offerings that these companies are coming to market with. We'll start with Disney Plus because it's arguably the most highly anticipated of the new D2C services, and for good reason. Disney's invested, it's undertaken significant internal restructuring in order to set up Disney Plus and ensure that it's given the appropriate resources to succeed. And an aggressive strategy will leave it very well placed to do so. So when it launches in November, it will provide access to all of Disney's highly prized intellectual property, everything from the Disney Vault, Disney Channel, the Marvel and Star Wars catalog movies, National Geographic content, all of that for a very competitive price point of $6.99 a month, $6.99 a month, so significantly undercutting Netflix. And Disney will leverage along with its aggressive pricing and compelling content, it'll leverage its trusted family brand, its dedicated fan base, and cross-service promotion and bundling potential. So Disney, of course, recently agreed a deal to eventually fully acquire Hulu, and its other big online channels initiative, ESPN Plus, is also gaining traction quickly. So from a strategic point of view, why is this such an important move for Disney? Well, I mean, if you look at its B2B channel business, Disney already reaches more homes than any other channel group. It reaches close to 500 million homes with the Disney Channel and National Geographic Channel, for instance, you can see from this chart here. But there is a pressing need to transition to D2C. Although the online giants are reaching far fewer homes. You can see Netflix and Amazon also on this chart. They achieve far higher levels of engagement and more importantly, are better monetized than traditional linear channels. So therefore, Disney wants to tap into this opportunity, and its wide distribution give it near unparalleled brand recognition to tap into for this. Now, along with its reach and brand, Disney's clear advantage in the D2C space is its, as I said, its highly desirable IP, and this is fueled by its superior content spending power. Now that it's combined with Fox, it's by far the biggest spender on original and acquired programming. You can see in this chart here, spending across those two companies $17 billion on that last year. And it will, of course, be pulling this content from Netflix, which is a blow to Disney's rival, but Netflix, of course, has been significantly, consistently increasing its own spend on originals, and that made it the third biggest spender on original and acquired programming last year. So let's turn our focus to WarnerMedia now, the other big traditional media group that is entering the D2C space. Now, in contrast to Disney+, there's questions around this service. It's a service that seems to be maybe having in the process of finding its identity. What we do know is that it will launch in the first quarter of next year, following a soft launch towards the end, in the final quarter of this year. And the content offering will be from the Warner Film Library, Cinemax, HBO, the DC universe, Cartoon Network channels, Friends, key shows. But what's much less clear are the business model and the price point for this service. So the initial planning was for a multi-tiered offering, which would have was going to have an entry-level price point, a low price point to attract customers competing more at that lower end. But now the latest executive comments suggest that it will be a single-tier offering that will not undercut HBO Now, which is priced at $14.99 a month. So we may be looking at a price point for this service of somewhere between $16 and $18 a month. So a fair bit above the services that we thought it would be competing with. And this means that it's actually looking like it will, there's also talk that it's leaning more towards having virtual pay TV ambitions. So there's talk of a potential merger of this service with DirecTV Now, and then turning it into an aggregation platform for other online channels. Now, there's a reason that AT&T is, I should have mentioned also that there's a potential to bundle it with pay TV. And there's a reason that AT&T is adopting, or WarnerMedia is leaning more towards this fatter bundle, this more expensive bundle than Disney+. And that's because AT&T has more to lose from pay TV's decline than Disney does. The subscription economics in terms of this switch for the subscription economics of this evolution for a pay TV operator are much less favorable than they are for Disney. So for Disney, losing carriage fees from a churned pay TV subscription and replacing that with a D2C customer is good business. But for AT&T, the replacement, you can see AT&T's video business that scaled up significantly, the chart on the left here, through the DirecTV and WarnerMedia acquisitions. For AT&T, the replacement of a $120 per month subscription in the US with an online one that could value less than a fifth of that is clearly much less desirable. Now, if it does want to aggressively seek to scale up this online business, then it does have a big mobile base at its disposal to leverage more than 150 million mobile subscriptions, and that's something that would be key to a future bundling strategy for WarnerMedia and AT&T. Now, what about Apple, the latest big tech firm to enter the D2C space? Well, for Apple TV+, it'll be brand equity and bankable talent that are the key weapons for attracting subscribers to its long-awaited TV content offering. It'll launch in the autumn. The content offering will focus on high-quality, low-volume storytelling. It'll have A-list talent like Oprah Winfrey, Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, and Apple will be leveraging its high device penetration, its much-loved consumer-facing brand, and its newfound availability across smart TVs. Now, Apple TV Plus represents one part of Apple's two-pronged aggregation and D2C play. The aggregation part of this, for that, Apple recently updated its TV app, and the focus here was on integration of content from different sources and expansion expansion of reach in terms of devices and the number of territories it's available in. And it also launched Apple Channels as well. So Apple's crafting an increasingly appealing TV platform that will make its new subscription content offering more accessible. And this increased reach that it's going to get by smart TVs and other third-party devices is quite significant. You can see that illustrated in the chart on the right here. So the manufacturers that it's done deals with, partnered with on the smart TV front, they accounted for 45% of global smart TV shipments last year. Now, why is the world's most successful smartphone maker investing in video? Well, Apple's devices business has matured. iPhone revenue declined by 19% in the first half of this year. And now services are driving revenue growth, up to 14% of total revenues in 2018 compared to 9% in 2015. So alongside Apple TV Plus, there's Apple Music, News Plus for magazine content, Apple Arcade for ad-free subscription and premium gaming. And this range of services highlights the bundling potential for Apple too, for Apple TV Plus to be bundled in with those services. And Apple's diversification strategy, it mirrors similar trends among other big tech or other consumer platforms companies, which are boosting their revenues outside their core businesses. These are companies that come from they have asymmetrical business models coming from a variety of different backgrounds, whether it's advertising in the case of Google, Baidu and Facebook, or retail like Amazon and Alibaba, devices, of course, with Apple, or communications and content like China's Tencent. And these platform companies seek to offer content, apps, and services across a broad range of consumer sectors to reach, engage, and monetize their users. So they're active across all the consumer sectors you see listed on the left here, everything from digital assistants to cloud, commerce and payments, communications, VR and AR, and of course content, and within that video services. And the key here is the goal is to indoctrinate users into that ecosystem. And video has become a key battleground, so investments and product launches have ramped up in recent years. Just picking up on a few of the recent ones, Google added a subscription tier to YouTube for YouTube Premium last year. Facebook launched its ad-supported watch service in 2017. Amazon, in that same year, rolled out Prime Video globally. And then, of course, we have Apple, which has been a bit slower on the uptake, a bit less aggressive on the video front than its peers, but it does now have a more comprehensive TV platform and content offering. And just to also mention, just tying this together, so video, for all these companies, it adds value to their ecosystem. It helps to tie it together. It helps to increase user adoption and engagement, drive revenue and monetization, and also reduce churn. So what are the prospects for Disney Plus, WarnerMedia, and Apple TV Plus? How do we see it? So we see a strong showing from all the new entrants. It's what we're expecting. But it's not necessarily going to have a significant impact on Netflix and Amazon, which will continue on their respective growth territories. What you're seeing in this chart here is our somewhat tentative pre-launch forecast for these services. These will be kind of subject to change a bit as more details about these services' actual go-to-market strategies are revealed. Go through them one by one for the moment. So Disney, we have most details about this one. Its aggressive strategy matches the most aggressive forecast scenario that we had for the service prior to its full unveiling. And so we think it's got a good chance of achieving up to 20 million subscriptions by 2023. Then we have WarnerMedia. I mean, the specifics of this service there appear to be quite fluid, but as an incremental add-on to HBO, it should attract quite a sizable customer base. And Apple TV Plus, as a standalone TV offering with an unknown price point, it's trending more towards our least aggressive forecast scenario. But were it to be bundled with Apple Music, that would significantly change our outlook here. So my time's running out, it seems. I've just got a couple more slides. So in terms of the total market impact, the next generation of streaming heavyweights are tracking to increase the US online video subscription market, the number of subscriptions, by around 15% above our baseline forecast. And you can see that in the chart here. That's the green shaded area at the top there. And that would take the number of online video subscriptions in the US towards the 300 million mark by the end of 2023. And the new entrants here, they do actually include one other player that I haven't had time to talk about today. That's NBC Universal. It's launching a new direct-to-consumer service, but it's not a big player in this particular measure of subscriptions because it'll be primarily an ad-supported, TV everywhere-oriented offering. It will be offered on a standalone basis, but only attracting a small number of subscriptions. Now, just second to last slide here. Although, just looking at the market power point of view, although Netflix and Amazon will remain the single most popular online channels, the new entrants' broader offerings will boost their overall market power. So for Disney, if we stack up all of its online services across Hulu, online subscription services across Hulu Live TV, ESPN+, and Disney+, its total subscriptions will actually, in this context, it will rival Netflix's subscriptions total by 2023. And it'll have more video subscribers than AT&T, whose business will become increasingly online-oriented and likely virtual pay TV-oriented. And then Apple, meanwhile, will have a range of subscriptions across different digital content services, TV, music, magazines, and games, and so that it will have significant bundling potential too. So I'll leave you with these takeaways. So we see varying levels of aggression that will yield mixed results for the new streaming heavyweights in what's becoming an exceptionally competitive online channels market in the US. High-quality content won't be enough to guarantee success. The number of players that have it is increasing, so this is forcing consumers to make tough choices, and success for some will mean failure for others. Not everyone will survive. Likely smaller players will be casualties. And therefore, bundling and hybrid models give the major players I've talked about an edge, whether it's aggregating online channels or aggregating a wider range of content and services. Thank you.